Welcome to the Miracles Happen Fertility Podcast, where it's all about using the power of your mind to create hope, health, and miracles on your fertility journey. And now your host, a dash of science and a heap of spirit, Dr. Maria Rothenberger.
Hey there, it's Maria Rothenberger, your host for the Miracles Happen Fertility Podcast. Welcome to episode 142, where we're going to be talking about a great question that I got recently. Where does my baby go when I don't feel them? Where does my spirit baby go when I don't feel them? I thought that would be a fantastic podcast episode because there's a lot more detail to just my email response to her. And I said, well, I'm just going to create a podcast episode about it because she's also not the only one that has asked that question. So that is obviously, that makes for a great podcast episode. So I want to talk about that today. And first, touch base with Miracles Happen Fertility Center. I launched in February. This is February 2022. I launched some other sessions, some other products that I think are useful that people have been asking for. So people have been asking for other kinds of intuitive sessions like oracle card readings, tarot card readings. I want to know about my career. I want to know about my love life, general intuitive readings. So I did launch those this month in February, because oftentimes actually those things are related to fertility too. So am I with the right partner? When is the right partner going to freaking show up already? These kinds of questions have come up during Spirit Baby sessions as well. So that's all interrelated, right? All these things are interrelated. What about my career? Am I going to be able to parent well while still maintaining a career, right? So that comes up a lot. And so some folks just want to have those pieces in place. And so they've asked for those kinds of sessions. And so I'm happy to say that that is now available. Also, people have asked for more affordable options. And so I am offering now a kind of reading that can be Spirit Baby focused or otherwise focused that are just one or two short questions that you can email me, and then I will send you a video reading. So that is also an option. Just go to my website, drmariarothenberger.com/shop, and you can look up intuitive readings and find all the options there. So that has now happened. Now, also, for folks who have had Spirit Baby sessions with me before, they are 90 minutes long, freaking jam-packed with information, so much information in there. And now, if you've had a full 90-minute session with me before and you just want to touch base, you don't have to purchase a full session again. There are 30-minute and 60-minute sessions available. So if you've had a 90-minute session with me before, this is for former Spirit Baby session folks only, then you can get a 30 or 60-minute session as well. So that is an option. Email me and ask me how. info@drmariarothenberger.com, and I will point you in the right direction to be able to do that. All right, so let's talk about Spirit Baby. Yay! Where does my Spirit Baby's soul go? Where does my Spirit Baby go when I can't feel them anymore? So I just want to say, the fact that this person asked me this question is like, I'm like clapping like crazy, because I consider it really possible for all of you, for you to be able to connect with your Spirit Baby on your own. I am a fervent believer that one does not need a medium to be able to connect to the other side. However, it's really useful when you're not quite believing the things that you're getting. You're not quite you're not quite believing your extrasensory perception, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, whatever the case might be. And to have another person there who is tuned into that and who does trust what they're doing say, yeah, that thing that you saw, that music that you heard, that image that you saw is real. That thing is real. P.S. Usually I ask for no information in advance. So if you see a medium and you just keep that information to yourself, and then they say, oh yeah, the baby is talking about a little brown bunny, and you go, holy shit, I just got a little brown bunny. That is confirmation for you. And I use that example because that came up recently. Baby was like, I'm going to show you a little brown bunny. And then the next day or a couple days later, I got an email. Oh my God, look at this little brown bunny I saw on Instagram. What? Anyway, so that's what a connecting with a medium is useful for in the future. Once you've started to tune into your own extrasensory perception, leaning on another intuitive or psychic medium and that kind of thing is helpful for your own validation. But eventually you can communicate on your own. So I just wanted to say kudos to the person who emailed me that in the first place. That you are connecting on your own is mwah, beautiful, beautiful. C'est magnifique. I speak no French, so my accent was probably way off. All right, so let's talk about spirit baby, all right? Let's answer that first question. Where does my spirit baby go when I don't feel them anymore? Now, there's two parts to the answer. The first part is spirit babies are everywhere. They are back in their little spirit baby realm. They are meeting with their team up there, which is a set of guides. They're hanging out with potentially some angels. They're hanging out with their soul group. They are everywhere. And just because they are with their soul group, they are with their angels, they're with their guides, does not mean that they can't be other places, because entities on the other side can be multiple places at once. They are not tied to one particular place. So like if they're hanging out with you and communicating with you, they are still hanging out with their guides and their soul group and all that. It's entirely possible, well beyond the realm of our understanding of how that's possible. But according to metaphysics world, it is possible. Okay, so the other part to the answer of this question is more likely that your spirit baby is still around you and you are not able to tune in right then. I like to talk about using your extrasensory perception as like a radio station, like turning a dial on a radio station. That is tuning in to that particular frequency. So, for example, when people have a failed cycle or they have a miscarriage, they often feel like, I can't connect to this baby anymore. They must have gone away. But the more likely reason for that is because you're not tuned in to that frequency. And who would be? You're grieving, you're upset, you're experiencing this big loss or anger or frustration or whatever it is that you're feeling. And spirit baby realm is nothing but love, 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 playfulness and love. And so when you're over here feeling anger, feeling frustration, feeling sadness, feeling anxiousness, it is very difficult then to tune into love, peace, playfulness, right? You're just not tuned in. Is that bad? No. Is it good? No, it's neither here nor there. It's just a tuning. Like you would say, oh, that radio that radio is bad because they're not tuning into the station that I want. No, I mean, you might get frustrated, but is it bad? No, it's just a thing that's happening. So that is more likely what's going on. It's not that your spirit baby has gone somewhere. It's that you're just not tuning in. So now, how do you tune in? You tune in by creating that same vibration. You tune in by creating the love, by creating the peacefulness, by creating the calm and the playfulness even. I think that playfulness is probably the easiest of all of those to create. And so you might start there, especially if you're feeling sadness or frustration or grief, it's probably easiest to tune in with something playful, like watching a funny movie, listening to a comedian, or something else that feels playful. I mean, going down to some water and skipping rocks, maybe that feels playful to you. Whatever it is to you that feels playful, do that thing, and you'll be able to tune into spirit baby realm a lot easier. Once you're there, once you feel like you're tuned in, it's a good opportunity to check in with spirit baby. So if you listen to my podcast episode, the recent one, let me get that episode number for you. That was episode 140, where I talked about 3 steps to connect with spirit baby. I talked about the acronym ACT, where you ask, you call in, and you trust. And if you want more details, obviously listen to episode 140, but that's a good opportunity to do that when you feel like, okay, I think I'm there. I think I'm in playful mode, or I think I'm in loving mode. That is a good time to practice that activity of asking, communicating with, and trusting what you're getting. So if you don't get the feedback that you are looking for, though, then that's the message. That's the communication. Continue being playful. Tune into lovingness. Tune into the calm. Tune into the serenity of spirit baby realm so that you can feel me again. And then you go back to the communication. You ask for information, you communicate, or you call in the baby, and you trust what you're getting. So this is, again, a lot of practice, and it's possible. I mean, I'm doing it. I do it every day now, which is a total blessing. And I feel so lucky to be able to do that. And I even still don't trust sometimes. Like, some things don't make sense to me. And I'll even say that in a session, and I'll be like, I don't know what this is. I have no symbol for this, but I'm just going to say it because it's shown up. And sure enough, there's a connection somewhere. So the long-winded answer just now to that question, where does my spirit baby go when I don't feel them? And then the short answer is, they're probably still there. You're just not tuned into them. And they're everywhere. They're in other places too. So it's kind of both. They're everywhere and they're here at the same time. You just have to tune into them. All right. One of the other questions that has come up, which is related to this, and I think it's so fascinating, because I had a session recently where the ancestor of this person wanted to come in as their baby. And this person was so connected to this ancestor on the other side that they worried, am I going to be able to connect with them still if they come back as my baby? And the answer is yes. This is absolutely fascinating. So when I learned, this actually came up in my own research because I had a past life experience where the timeline overlapped another lifetime experience, a past lifetime experience. And I thought, that's not possible, is it? So I had to do some research around that. Here's my sciencey brain, right? Like, I have to know, I want the answers. I want to know what is going on here. Can I trust what I'm getting? And I encourage you to be the same way, right? Always be a healthy skeptic. That means don't buy everything that people are putting down. Don't pick up what people are putting down automatically. Be open to it. Like, okay, that's a thing. Maybe I'm going to do my own research. And then you do. So you do your own research, you do your due diligence, and then you still get to choose what makes the most sense to you, what resonates with you the most. So I know that I had this experience. Even though past life regression is a beautiful therapy tool, one does not need to believe that it's true in order for it to be effective. The only thing that really matters is how your past life experiences manifest in your current life. I, however, happen to believe that those past life experiences are real. So when I had this past life experience that overlapped timelines with another life, I questioned my sanity, really, but I questioned whether or not that's accurate or it's possible. And so I did some research in the metaphysics world and found that many people postulate, or many people believe, that because time on this planet and maybe other places on the universe is linear in our minds does not make it so. Just because we believe that does not make it true. I heard that time also doesn't really exist. It's not this linear thing. It all is happening at the same time. So if you have a past life experience or several past life experiences that overlap one another, that is neither here nor there. It's still possible and likely accurate. So the conclusion that I came to from that research, well, there was more to that research. The rest of the research said that souls are not just a singular thing. We're all parts of a whole, and our own soul can split into various lives. So what does that mean if you think about it? And further, sorry, let me back up. What they said was that even our, soul here right now listening to this podcast episode is here supposedly in a body. Most of the soul is still on the other side. So the conclusion that I came to with this is that even though your ancestor has passed away and they want to come back as your child, the rest of their soul as you knew them, like a grandparent or a great-grandparent, is still there on the other side. Therefore, you can both have this soul in your child's body and still communicate with them as that ancestor. This is like freaking mind-blowing, crazy metaphysical quantum physics stuff. It's like so bizarre to think about, right? But it's beautiful also when you think about it. Again, I encourage you to not pick up everything I'm putting down. I encourage you to do your own due diligence, read about this, learn about this, hear what other people have to say about this. And I would love to know your resources and hear what you have to say too, because this is a beautiful conversation to have. So it's all related is what I'm getting to with this podcast episode. Like souls, we exist on multiple planes at the same time. Like time is not linear. It does not exist in the way that we perhaps have thought that exists, or that we do think that it exists. So this is the world of the weird, and I consider it lovely. I just think it's a beautiful way to think about our existence as souls living as humans. I just think it's fabulous. Okay. Here's another question I want to answer in this podcast episode because I get it a lot. Once I'm pregnant, will I still be able to communicate with my spirit baby? And related to that, when does my spirit baby get into the body? Like, when do they come into their body? Okay, so the answer to the first question is absolutely yes. If preconception, conception, pregnancy, even birth, even after birth, you are able to communicate with the soul of that baby. Because, as I just said, most of the soul is still on the other side. The cool thing now, though, is once the baby is earthside, is that you can seek very tangible evidence that the communication is accurate, right? So, like, for example, had a session with somebody today where she asked when her baby is earthside if there's anything about the birth that mom needs to be aware of. And I said that baby mentioned the bright lights and the loud sounds. Also that she doesn't particularly like hats. And so removing the hat and laying a blanket, the light blanket over her head. So that covers muffles a little bit of the sound, and it dulls a little bit of the lights. Also, dimming the lights or turning them off completely would be a beautiful thing. Now, this mother will now be able to test that. If baby's fussy and then she puts this little blanket over her head and turns off the lights, will baby be soothed? That is a way to find this evidence, right? So Okay, to answer that question, yes, you can absolutely talk to your baby once you are pregnant, and once the baby is here. You can still speak to their spirit in the same way. It's so beautiful when you think about it, right? And then the answer to the second question, when does the spirit baby come into their own body? Now, this is my experience only. Other spirit baby mediums have a different experience. So I'll speak to my own experience. My experience is that babies' souls come in and out of the body during pregnancy. Pardon me. Actually, I think this might also be in the Walter McKitchen book, Spirit Babies. So if you haven't picked that up yet, pick that book up. There's a lot of great, beautiful information in that book on how spirit baby realm works and how to communicate with your spirit baby and how to call them in if you don't feel a spirit baby. So helpful. So highly recommend picking that book up. So I believe this is in there, that the soul comes in and out of the body during pregnancy, and during the last, I don't know, like 2 months or so, 7-8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, baby is like solidly in there because they're prepping to experience this birth. They're prepping to be in the body, which feels like this sluggish, heavy suit. It's not that comfortable, but they're prepping to be born, right? Now, again, our souls are still mostly on the other side. And this is part of the research around dream work and why we dream or why we sleep even. I think I've talked about that in other podcast episodes before, that we go out of the body and we explore and we do all these fun things. There's a great book about that too, Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. Really, really excellent. It's about astral travel, leaving the body and your soul traveling. Oh my gosh, I could go down that rabbit hole anytime. Maybe I will on a different podcast episode. But for now, the baby is likely in and out of their body before birth. And then the last 6 to 8 weeks is when they're like solidly in there, prepping to be born. I believe that has been my experience. And then I read the Spirit Baby book again, and it was in there. I think, unless it was another book, but that is my experience over and over again with folks that I've read for, and other Spirit Baby mediums have their own experience too. But it's usually something kind of like that. So regardless, if your baby the soul is in the body, the soul is traveling, you're still able to communicate with them because they're able to be omnipresent. They're able to be multiple places at once and can communicate with you no matter where they are. It's not like if I was holding a bouncy ball, it's not like if I threw it, it would now be over on the other side of the room. It would still be in my hand. It's like this quantum physical world of possibility all the time. Just everything is happening at the same time. All possibilities exist at the same time. It's wonderful and weird and beautiful, and I would love to talk all day about this kind of stuff. It's fascinating to me. And lots and lots and lots of research is being done on this very thing. So this is where I just feel like science and spirituality, these unknowns, are all coming together. They have come together, and it's just about, presenting them in a sciencey way to help people have a better grasp or a stronger grasp on it. Okay, I'm now rambling, so I'm going to stop talking about this. I hope that this helps answer your question, and I encourage you to go forth and communicate on your own. Trust what you're getting. Listen to the podcast episode again, episode 140, about 3 steps that you can start communicating with your baby right now. And I'd love to hear what you come up with. I'd really love to hear it. All right. Also, if you love the content or even like the content on this podcast, please do leave a rating on the platform that you're listening to this on. I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to leave some words too, that would be wonderful. I so appreciate you. Sending you lots of love from the Miracles Happen Fertility Center. All right. Until next time, my friend, be well.